Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so a new weekend is here again, and just as we normally do on this channel on weekends, I bring you the weekly market outlook. Alright, look at what is yet to come or what is ahead of us so far as going into a new week is concerned. Alright, yeah, so last week was NFP week. Alright, yeah, so NFP week, I don't really go in as I normally do on a normal weekly basis. Alright, yeah, so I've made a video on when to trade NFP. Yes, I've made a video on when to trade NFP, and so I'm going to post that video within the week, so watch out for it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, just subscribe, alright, and then smash the notification bell so that once I post that video, you're going to get hold of it and then grab the knowledge out of it. Trust me, you're going to get a lot of value for that video. I've recorded that video. I'm yet to edit the video and then post it, so latest by Wednesday that video is going to be on this channel. So once you get hold of that video, make sure you watch it to the end to understand, because there's a lot of nuggets in the video. All right, yeah, so let's look at the weekly market outlook. But before we start, just as we normally do, let's go to the economic news calendar and see what high impact news is there for us so far as the new week is concerned. Next week is CPI. All right, here, so I'll be very much interested on how the CPI is going to affect the market. All right, yeah, so on Monday, that is Monday Asia session, we have our Proud to Asia session, we have AED high impact news coming up. All right, so I want to see how price will move on AED. And then on Tuesday GBP unemployment rate. All right, we have also the claimant count change, yes, and then employment change. And we also have CPI, all right, yes, USD CPI on Tuesday. And I mean, it's going to be very interesting on the market. So whatever being the case, all right, I'm expecting that they use the CPI to make the low or the high of the week, all right, depending on the direction of the market. So let's see what happens on Tuesday. You also have a CPI, we have the inflation rate, core inflation, and then CPI SA. I don't know what it is though, but all I know is a high impact news. So let's expect that. Wednesday, we have also another high impact news for USD. We have a high impact news for USD on Wednesday. All right. We also have, yes, so PPI, which is the same as the CPI. The CPI is the customer based. All right, for the customer based. And I think the PPI is for the manufacturing base. So just take note of that. We have retail sales. We also have AED unemployment rate, and then employment change. So next week is full of news. So just watch out for it. Full of news next week. Yeah. So Thursday, building permits, USD high impact news, initial jobless claims, and continued jobless claims, all high impact news for USD on Thursday. So you realize that from Tuesday to Friday, we have USD high impact news throughout. All right, but the one I'm much concerned is the CPI, because that is what is going to really move the market. That is what I'm much concerned about. All right, yeah. So Friday, we have the USD Michigan consumer sentiment. You see how the market reacts to on Friday. So this is the high impact news for next week. So you might want to be very careful on the market. Let's delve into the charts and see what is happening technically. So on the dollar index last week, you saw price moving to the upside, taking out this buy side liquidity, which is the previous 20 days high. All right, it took out the previous 20 days high, and it has taken out the previous 40 days high. So the moment the major high or the major buy side liquidity, which is yet to be touched, is the previous 60 days high. So currently I'm expecting to see, once this buy side liquidity has been taken out, I'm expecting to see price move to the downside to take out this equal lows, all right, into the zone before we see a continuation to the upside. So I'll expect to see a little bit of retracement next week before we see a move to the upside. So that is my expectation on the dollar index going into next week. Let's look at what is happening on GBPUSD. So for GBPUSD, let's switch to the weekly time frame for me to show you something. So on the weekly time frame, look at what happened. Sell side liquidity has been taken out, all right, and at the moment we have what? Clean highs. We have a buy side liquidity that is so clean. So I'm expecting to see price move to the upside to take out that buy side liquidity before we see a move or a continuation to the downside. So let's go back to the daily for us to see those buy side liquidity clearly. So this is the buy side liquidity I'm talking about, all right. Yes, so these are clean highs. These highs are so clean, all right. These highs are very, very clean. Let's switch to the 1 hour to see what is happening on the 1 hour. Yeah, so this is what is happening on the 1 hour. Yeah, so last week I told you I'll be tape reading the market. I wouldn't be trading because it's an NFP week, all right. Yeah, so just as I was reading GBPUSD, this is what I was expecting to see, all right. Market coming back into the midnight opening price of Wednesday, then we saw a move to the upside. Yes, so all these moves happened Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all right. Yeah, so this is what happened on Thursday, and that was about 189 pips, all right, which on a normal day this would have been very good, or this would have been looking so good in my account, but NFP, so I just decided to let it go. It's normal, all right. Yes, I know most of you would be like, why do you have to let this trade go? Yes, because it is NFP week, and NFP week, especially in the middle of the week, I don't really take trades like this in the middle of the week when it's NFP, all right. Yes, when you watch my video on when to trade NFP, you're going to understand what I'm talking about, all right. Yes, so that is just that for GBPUSD. So I'm expecting to see price push to the upside, continue to the upside to take out those buy side liquidities we saw on the daily time frame, all right, before we see a continuation to the downside. Yes, before we see a continuation to the downside. So at the moment, that is my expectation on GBPUSD, because next week has a lot of high impact news. I don't want to really see much, all right. Yes, I'll definitely bring you the midweek market outlook. Yes, I'll bring you the midweek market outlook after the CPI. That is when I'm going to really give you a vivid direction of the market. That is when I'm going to go deep when it comes to technical. But at the moment, I'm just giving you my bias and what I'm expecting to see prior to CPI. So just take note of that. Let's look at what is happening on AUDUSD. So for AUDUSD, I'm still bearish on this pair, all right. Price is still looking bearish, all right. Yes, so let's switch to the 1 week time frame for me to show you something here too as well. Yeah, so we've had an impulse move to the downside, all right, a very heavy bearish move, all right, creating this large range bearish candle. And whenever there is a creation of a large range bearish candle, what do I normally say? If you have been following me for quite some time, you know what I do whenever candles like this comes into play, right? I look out for the 50% range of this candle, all right. That is the consequent encroachment of the bearish candle. That's the 50%. So I'll just measure 50% of this candle, then I'll wait for price to retrace at least, all right, at least price to fill the 50% before we see a continuation to either the upside or downside, and in this case to the downside. Yeah, so going into next week, I want to see price retrace at least 50% of this weekly range we are seeing here. All right, that is if you will see a continuation to the downside, and it's all going to be dependent on the CPI, the news release. All right, yeah. So let's switch the lady and see. Yeah, so the 50%, and look at something. The 50% of this range is right above these buy side liquidities we are seeing here. All right, yeah. So going into next week, I want to see price take out this buy side liquidity. All right, and between this buy side, this high, all right, between this high and then this low forms a fair value gap. All right, let me just make it clear for you. This high, all right, this high, sorry, and this high, all right, that is a fair value gap. That is a fair value gap. That is a fair value gap. So if we will continue our bearish move, I want to see price move up into this zone, then we see a continuation to the downside. All right, yeah. So something like this. This is what I want to see. So price moving into this zone, then we see a continuation to the downside. So this is my expectation on AUDUSD going into next week. Yeah, so that is just that for AUDUSD. Let's look at what is happening on NZDUSD. Yeah, so for NZDUSD, we've already seen price filling up the fair value gap. All right, we had a fair value gap here. All right, this low and then this high. All right, so between this low and then this high is a fair value gap. Yes, so this low and this high is a fair value gap, of which price has filled that fair value gap. All right, for AUDUSD, price is yet, all right, to fill the fair value gap. That is this low and then this high. All right, so the low of this low and then the high of this high we are seeing here. The price is yet to fill in that fair value gap, but for NZDUSD, the fair value gap has already been filled. So I'm not expecting to see price moving further to the upside of NZDUSD going into next week. I want to see price continue its bearish move straight away. All right, and that tells you that NZDUSD and AUDUSD, even though price they move in the same direction, one moves before the other. All right, and here is the trick that I'm expecting to see. See, there's a high impact news on what AUDUSD on Monday. All right, there's a high impact news on AUDUSD on Monday. There is no high impact news for NZDUSD. For NZD. All right, so there's a high impact news for AUD, but there is no high impact news for NZD. So I'm expecting that the high impact news will be used to move price to the upside to fill this fair value gap. You see how I'm bringing things together? Yeah. So sometimes when people tell you that news are just smoke screens, you should understand. All right, because as at Friday, when price was really moving, let's switch to the 1 hour and see snap. I want us to compare NZDUSD and AUDUSD for me to show you something. You see, this is how the NFP moved on NZDUSD on Friday. All right, and this is a trade I took on Friday for NZDUSD. I've explained why I took this trade in the video I'm yet to post. That is when to trade NFP. All right, yeah. So once you get hold of that video, you understand why I took this trade, and you understand why I chose to trade NZDUSD instead of AUDUSD. So as at the time NFP was moving price to the upside, heavily moving price to the upside on NZDUSD. Look at what was happening on AUDUSD. Look at what was happening. Price was in a consolidation. Price was consolidating. All right, and it is all because I'm really of a strong conviction that it's all because of the high impact news. on Monday. All right, yeah, so investors were just marking time. Investors were just marking time, waiting for the high impact news on Monday, and we'll see how the market is going to react. All right, I'll definitely see how the market or the high impact news will react on the market on Monday, so far as the Australian dollar is concerned. So just take note of this. All right, yes. So with what I've said, I know the smart ones have been able to pick some tips from it. Yes. So if you didn't really, if you aren't paying attention, just go back and listen to it again. All right, I made some, I called out some scenarios between what NZDUSD and then AUDUSD, whereby I made mention of the fact that on Friday NFP moved heavily on NZDUSD, but AUDUSD didn't move. Why? There is a high impact news waiting for AUDUSD on Monday. Are you getting it? Yeah. So you should know by this, by what I've said, you should be able to tell where price will likely, or where they will use the high impact news to direct price. All right, by what I've said, you should be able to tell, because if NFP week, or if on NFP day NZD was able to move this way and then AUDUSD didn't move, why? There is a high impact news on Monday, then that means they will use this high impact news for a particular direction. I'm not going to say it. All right, I won't say it. All right, yes, what I've said is enough for you to determine where they are likely to move price to. All right, yes. So just let's see how what happens on Monday so far as AUDUSD is concerned. Yeah, so that is just that. So NZDUSD, I'm expecting to see price continuing to the downside. All right, yeah. So basically, that is just that going into a new week. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, click on the subscribe button and then turn on the post notification too as well. And the link to my Telegram community is in the description box below. Click on the link and be part of the Clairvoyant Trader trading Telegram community. All right. Yes, I hope you've really gotten value out of this. All right, this has been very insightful. I know it has been very insightful. That is why I'm asking you to subscribe to this channel, because there is more to come. All right, yes, don't miss my next educational content. It's going to be let me not talk too much. All right, because the kind of nuggets I'm bringing, I mean, that video, I haven't really come across something like that on YouTube. So expect something big for the next educational content I'm bringing out. Right, I wish you all good luck and good trade. I'll come your way again another time with the midweek market outlook. Stay tuned.